You wake up tomorrow, and the first thing you notice isn't the strength. It isn't the web shooting. It isn't even the ability to crawl across your bedroom ceiling. It's the fact that you've just become the most valuable and most dangerous human being on Earth. At first, it sounds like the greatest thing imaginable. Swinging between skyscrapers, stopping criminals, never sitting in traffic again. But within days, governments would start asking questions. Scientists would want your DNA. Criminal organizations would put a price on your head. And your biggest enemy might not be a supervillain. It might be your own body. Because becoming Spider-Man in the real world isn't a superhero fantasy. It's a life sentence. Let's start with the obvious. You wake up feeling different. Your alarm goes off, but before you even stand up, your hand sticks to the wall beside your bed. Your phone accidentally rips from the charger because your fingers refuse to let go. Then you step onto the floor, and somehow you're standing sideways against your bedroom wall. Panic sets in. Gravity suddenly feels optional. At first, it's incredible. Until you realize you've forgotten how to walk normally. Your brain spent your entire life assuming down was always the floor. Now, down can be any direction you choose. Your balance system has to completely relearn reality. The first few days would probably be nothing but accidental ceiling walks and broken furniture. But that's not the biggest surprise. Because your strength has changed too. Spider-Man isn't just strong, he's absurdly strong. Depending on the version, he can lift anywhere from 10 to over 100 tons. Now imagine trying to live with that. You grab a doorknob. It comes off. You shake someone's hand. You accidentally break 3 fingers. You hug your mother. She screams in pain. Every movement becomes dangerous. The human body isn't designed to constantly measure that much force. Professional weightlifters already struggle to avoid damaging everyday objects after training. Now multiply that thousands of times. Even typing on a keyboard becomes an exercise in self-control. One careless sneeze could punch a hole through drywall. One angry moment could kill someone. The hardest part of becoming Spider-Man isn't learning to use your strength, it's learning not to. Then there's speed. Spider-Man regularly moves faster than cars in city traffic. His reflexes border on impossible. But here's something nobody talks about. Your brain now processes the world much faster than everyone else's. Conversations begin feeling slow. Traffic seems frozen. Sports become predictable. People look like they're moving underwater. Imagine watching someone throw a baseball. Instead of seeing a blur, you see every rotation, every seam, every tiny movement. It sounds amazing, until you realize boredom becomes unavoidable. Everyone around you suddenly feels painfully slow. Even waiting in line at a grocery store starts feeling like torture. Then, your spider sense activates. At first, it's incredible. You avoid slipping. You dodge falling objects. You react before danger happens. But imagine never truly relaxing again. Every potential threat creates an alert. Someone behind you reaches into their pockets. Spider sense. A car loses control 2 streets away. Spider sense. A drone flies overhead. Spider sense. Your nervous system becomes a 24-hour early warning machine. Helpful? Absolutely. Peaceful? Not even close. People with severe anxiety already experience constant hypervigilance. Now imagine your anxiety is actually correct. Every single time. Now let's talk about webs. Swinging through New York looks effortless. Physics says otherwise. A single swing could easily reach speeds over 60 miles per hour. At those speeds, every turn creates enormous g-forces. Pilots train for years to handle high acceleration. You'd be experiencing it every morning on your way to work. Miss one web shot, you're dead. Attach a web to weak concrete. You're dead. Misjudge momentum by 1 second. You're dead. The movies skip over something important. Spider-Man survives because his reflexes are practically supercomputer level. Without them, swinging through cities would be one of the world's most dangerous forms of transportation. Ironically, driving would probably become safer, but eventually people notice. Someone records you climbing a skyscraper. The video gets uploaded. 10 million views overnight. Half the internet calls it fake. The other half starts tracking your location. Within a week, every major news network is covering the Spider-Man incident. Scientists begin analyzing your movements frame by frame. Military analysts estimate your combat potential. Governments deny they're interested. They're lying. Because you're no longer just a person, you're a strategic asset. One human capable of outrunning vehicles, climbing buildings, lifting armored cars, dodging bullets, and disappearing across rooftops. Countries have gone to war over far less. Could you hide your identity, maybe for a month, maybe 6, but eventually? No. Every superhero movie ignores one huge problem: surveillance. Modern cities contain millions of cameras. Traffic cameras, doorbell cameras, phone cameras, facial recognition, satellite imaging, thermal imaging, AI tracking. Eventually someone notices that Spider-Man keeps appearing suspiciously close to you once investigators start connecting timestamps. The mask becomes almost useless. Your secret identity doesn't survive modern technology. Now imagine trying to keep your job. You're late every morning because stopping accidents takes time. Your clothes constantly tear. Your phone breaks whenever you accidentally squeeze it. Coworkers notice bruises that disappear overnight. One day your boss asks where you were during yesterday's bridge collapse. You can't answer honestly. Eventually, you either quit or become the world's most suspicious employee. Normal life slowly disappears. Money becomes another strange problem. At first you think, I'll just become famous. Sure, brands would love Spider-Man. Movies, commercials, sports events, talk shows. But fame comes with lawyers, contracts, taxes, security, and endless public attention. The moment your identity leaks, your family loses privacy forever. Your childhood home becomes a tourist attraction. Your friends get harassed online. Every relationship becomes a security risk. Being Spider-Man doesn't just change your life, it changes everyone else's too. And then, crime changes, because criminals adapt. At first, street crime drops. Nobody wants to rob a store if Spider-Man might arrive in 10 seconds. But organized crime evolves. Instead of attacking banks, they attack your loved ones. Instead of fighting you directly, they use drones, explosives, cyber attacks, hostages. History shows criminals always adapt to new policing methods. Spider-Man simply forces them to become smarter. Crime doesn't disappear. It evolves. Now imagine the military. Could they stop you? Probably, eventually. Not because they're stronger, because they're patient. They don't need to beat you in a fistfight. They track your sleep, monitor your food supply, jam communications, deploy drones that never get tired. Military strategy isn't about strength. It's about logistics. Even the strongest human eventually needs to eat, sleep, recover. Governments understand this better than anyone. Speaking of sleep, do you even get enough? Every night you hear sirens. Every emergency becomes your responsibility. Someone falls from a building, someone gets trapped in a fire. Someone's being attacked. You could help. But if you help one person, what about the next? And the next? This is the psychological trap of being Spider-Man. Your powers create impossible expectations. Every tragedy you don't prevent starts feeling like your fault. Real first responders already suffer burnout from constantly witnessing emergencies. Spider-Man experiences that every hour, forever. Relationships become almost impossible. Dating? Good luck. How do you explain disappearing during dinner because someone 50 blocks away is in danger? How do you explain broken furniture? Destroyed apartments? Hospital visits? Eventually your partner asks, will I ever come before strangers? And you don't have an answer, because if someone is screaming for help, how do you ignore it? Being Spider-Man means constantly choosing between the people you love and everyone else. Now imagine 1 year later. You've become a global symbol. Children wear Spider-Man backpacks. Scientists publish papers about your biology. Athletes study your movements. Governments rewrite defense strategies around a single individual. Insurance companies create entirely new categories for superhuman incidents. Construction. Companies reinforce rooftops. Cities install anti-climbing security systems. The economy changes. Politics change. Religion changes. People begin debating whether you're humanity's next evolutionary step or a threat that must be controlled. The existence of one Spider-Man reshapes civilization. 10 years later, you're still young. Your healing factor has kept your body in incredible condition. But mentally? You're exhausted. Thousands of rescues. Hundreds of funerals you couldn't prevent. Millions of decisions. Every mistake replaying in your mind. People still expect perfection. But perfection doesn't exist. Not even for Spider-Man. Especially not in the real world. So, would becoming Spider-Man actually be worth it? If your dream is adventure, freedom, purpose, few lives could compare. You'd see the world from perspectives no human ever has. You'd save lives almost every day. You'd become one of history's greatest heroes, but if you value privacy, peace, family dinners, anonymous walks through the park, sleeping without guilt, or simply living an ordinary life, you might discover that Spider-Man's greatest burden isn't his enemies. It's the responsibility that comes with the power to help almost everyone, yet never everyone. Because once you have the ability to save lives, the hardest question isn't whether you can. It's deciding when you can't. And maybe that's the real reason Spider-Man has always been one of the most human superheroes ever created. So here's the question. If you woke up tomorrow with Spider-Man's powers, but knew you'd lose your privacy, your normal life, and possibly everyone you love, would you still choose to keep them?